Hello, everyone. My name is George Veronis. I'm from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I'm an organizational director with Beamer and also the regional director of the East Coast. And I just want to spend 25 minutes with you, really going through a product presentation of what Beamer is all about to give you enough information to really go to the next step and do some more evaluation or obviously get the Beamer to help better your health. So I'd like to start with my story. How did I get in this and why did I look at Beamer? Well, 4 years ago, I was actually feeling numbness right here in my arm. And I knew that wasn't good for you, so I went and had a checkup, and they asked me to get a stress test. You get on the treadmill, you see how long it takes your heart to go up or your heartbeat. And I made it to what's called level 5, which is the highest level. And I had two cardiologists actually telling me that I had a 1% chance of heart disease. It seemed I was in pretty good shape. They didn't know what was causing this numbness. So a week goes by, and I said, something's not right. I went to a third cardiologist, and I asked if we could do a catheterization. They didn't think it was necessary, but I decided to do it. Well, within 10 minutes of the catheterization, they said, wow, you're our shock of the year. All three of your arteries are 90% blocked, plus you have several other blockages. And believe it or not, a week later, I had open heart surgery with 8 bypasses performed, which was one of the highest they've ever done. And I was one of the fortunate ones, thank God, that I didn't have the heart attack because I probably wouldn't have survived it. However, even after 8 bypasses, about maybe 2, 3 months later, I started feeling the numbness again. I got checked again. I did a stress test. 2 of my bypasses had closed up, and they said there's nothing they could really do, but just work out more and build up collateral, etc. The problem was I was tired every day, taking a nap. I lacked energy. So someone introduced me, George Gossage, to the Beamer, and I didn't know anything about bioenergy, didn't really buy into it first. But eventually my son did some research, and I got the Beamer. And I could tell you within about 3 weeks, I was going to bed at midnight, waking up at 7. It was giving me crazy, unbelievable energy. I was sleeping through the night again. So I knew it was doing something to the energy of the body. And also I had lower back issues. They went away, broke up the inflammation. And I really enjoyed the process of using the Beamer on a daily basis for 8 minutes. So anyway, that continued, and I started feeling compelled to share it with others. I went over and checked out the company. I came back, and I just started sharing with other people to help them in their health. And I read a great line when I started Beamer. It said, make your interactions transformational, not transactional. And I made a decision just to share the product with many people. And over the last 4 years, I not only sold over 100 Beamers, and our group did probably about 8 or 9,000, but I've been able to travel the whole East Coast mostly and hear a lot of phenomenal stories what Beamer can do. So I do want to make it clear, though, despite all the stories we hear, there is a disclaimer that we're not saying to stop using drugs or don't go see a doctor. We're not preventing or curing disease or diagnosing treatments. We're actually saying that Beamer brings you nice blood flow and oxygen, helps the body. It's a phenomenal modality, and hopefully it could do good for your body. So I just wanted to clear that up. Now, I want you to think for a minute on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you, 10 being the worst? Meaning, if you're stressed, you have discomfort, restless, unfocused, low energy. Actually, this is actually me 4 years ago. I was on a scale 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, stress. I was restless, I was unfocused, I lacked energy. So think where you are, because I'm going to show you later how Beamer could probably make a big impact on your life to better each of those areas. Now, if you don't take time to take care of your own body and do your own education, we're being very influenced by outside sources in a negative way. For instance, think of Time Magazine is saying, despite all the advances in medicine, Americans are less healthier than ever before, and the next generation might be worse. Obesity, like I'm 57, 1979 when I was in high school, the obesity rate was about 7%, the overweight rate was about 11%. Now, let's go 40 years later. We have gyms, yoga clubs, weight loss programs, all kinds of methods to stay in shape. And there's over 41% obese and 78%, or somewhere in the high 70s, overweight, which has led to 27 million diabetics. And the numbers keep escalating that they say in the next 20 years, we might spend more treating obesity and chronic illnesses from that than our entire healthcare system today, which is very alarming. In fact, there's books being written now, like Our Daily Meds, that say how the pharmaceutical companies have transformed themselves into slick marketing machines and hooked the nation on prescription drugs. And they start out by saying all these countries combined, Japan, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, etc., all those countries combined don't use even a portion of the drugs we use in the United States. In fact, what? 1 in every 3 commercials now is drug commercial. Now, I want to make sure you understand, I'm not putting down the allopathic Western world doctors because we do need them. When I had open heart surgery, I was glad to see the cardiologist. I was glad to see the surgeon. I was glad to see the anesthesiologist. I was glad to get the painkiller when I woke up and my chest was cracked open. But you know what I remember the biggest impact? I was off of painkillers in 3 days, then went to Tylenol 3, yet they gave me a whole month or two supply of painkillers to take home. So we're very influenced by the food industry, the drug industry, and the health industry in a negative way for most people as they get more obese. But think about this. If you can enhance your body with more blood flow, you can get better nutrient and oxygen supply to the body, you get better cardiac function. And by the way, when I was in Europe, I met one of the most renowned cardiovascular specialists or surgeons, and he even said the way the United States is going, if we keep on this pace, about 65% of all Americans will suffer from cardiovascular disease. How about sleep management? I just read 70 million people suffer from sleep, and we have a solution for that, which you're going to be pretty impressed with, which I'll show you later. Waste disposal, physical fitness, endurance, concentration, mental acuity, and how about stress reduction? I don't know anybody that doesn't suffer from stress in this country, the way we run around and just overburden ourselves with so many tasks and things to do and family, etc. So if you could do all that in a natural way, wouldn't you want to know that? Sure, I did. Even though I didn't come from the holistic background or the science background, I was listening, and I'm so glad I did. So one thing I could say when I go around the country and I speak in any area, you can sit back and relax because we're not in your area trying to convince you or test Beamer on you to see if it works. This is a company and a product that's been around 20 years, mostly in Europe, with over 1 million people using the product. We're in 42 different countries, thousands of hospitals and clinics using it, not pending patents. Listen, 5 worldwide patents. And then we're backed up by a lot of research. We're FDA registered device. The FDA is aware of us. They deem us safe. It's like over the counter, and it's helping a lot of people. In fact, when I talk about NASA, they're the smartest scientists in the world, and they're doing a joint collaboration with us to really study this unique wave and signal and these patents we have that's stimulating the body to bring so much blood flow and oxygen to it. So the wave of the future is this bioenergy, okay? And again, I don't come from that background, but I learned this. Our bodies are electric and our bodies are chemical, but they're electric first. And if we could work on that area, we could probably avoid a lot of the drugs. So if you don't believe that's the future, think about this. We have pharmaceuticals, we have nutraceuticals, and now the buzzword is electroceuticals. And that's a whole new leading industry that's been big in Europe and in the Eastern worlds, but it's kind of relatively new to the Western world. But take this. GlaxoSmith, who's one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world, are now spending $715 million creating this bioelectronic medical firm. And look what they're saying. The future of treating disease and curing disease could be involving these electrical signals, which Beamer has been doing for over 20 years. So people are paying attention. They're realizing this is a really good way to heal the body. So again, for those that are skeptics or those that come from a medical background, you can go on PubMed, because PubMed is like the Bible for the doctors and in the medical world. And they say, hey, show me third-party clinical studies. Well, we have over 30 to 40 third-party clinical peer-reviewed studies on PubMed. And that's important to know because there's other what's called pulse electromagnetic field devices out there that have been around, and none of them have any studies on PubMed except for Beamer, which we have a lot of them. So we are validated by a lot of great research. So make sure you understand that, so it's not like we're testing it on you or seeing if it works. So I'll talk a little bit about the body and how things are working, but if you don't know the iceberg principle, this is interesting because we're always trying to cure the symptoms of the disease, and we're not getting into the cell state below the body. So think about this. On the surface, we always try to take care of the symptoms. Oh, I feel stressed. I'll take some ibuprofen. Hey, my shoulder's killing me. I have discomfort. Geez, take a cortisone shot. Hey, I'm unfocused. Did you ever hear about Ritalin or Adderall? Hey, I have low energy. Well, drink 2 more Red Bulls. So we always want the instant gratification, but maybe we should be looking at below the surface. Am I getting enough oxygen? Am I getting enough nutrients to the cell level? Am I getting rid of waste? Am I getting good cardiac function? Am I decreasing or increasing blood flow? So look, I'm 6'3", 200 pounds, always been in good shape, played tennis in college, always exercise, jump rope daily. So on the surface, I looked like in pretty good health. Who would have ever thought below the surface I had three arteries, 90% blocked? Well, that didn't happen overnight, but maybe should have been focusing on the underneath surface. So I love the analogy of the Titanic, right? The unsinkable ship went across that little iceberg, the bottom hit it, sunk that ship in what, 8 to 10 hours, killed thousands of people. And that's kind of how our body works. Maybe not that quick, but eventually it'll catch up to us. So we got to get good cell function. Now, what is a path to wellness? So again, this is just a minor education so you can see the relationship to Beamer to the body. But, we have 100 trillion cells that have to be nourished and cleansed via these little capillary vessels where nutrient and oxygens are delivered and toxins get eliminated. But here's what a lot of people don't know, that 26% of our body are these arteries and major veins. And the river of life, as we all know, is what? Blood flow. But here's the problem. 74% of these little vessels that could circle the earth, pretty amazing body, 2.5 times, 74,000 miles, these little capillary vessels that also need to be fed with blood flow and oxygen, etc. But the medical field really focuses on the major veins and arteries, not the capillaries. So think about this. What's the first thing to go in your body, even when you're healthy? You turn 42, you're reading one morning, and you wake up and you go, oh my gosh, I can't read the page. Millions of capillary vessels, not getting good blood flow, and all of a sudden you need reading glasses. Then furthest away from the heart, like your toes, your feet, etc. So we got to really work on good blood flow, okay? And you're going to see now good blood flow or poor blood flow first and good blood flow. This is a $20 million instrument on the left, and you can see sluggish, clogged up blood flow. This is actually a real inside a colon that you can see it. On the right, you see good blood flow. So you have to make a decision. You want poor blood flow or good blood flow? So the uniqueness is when you're on Beamer, and we're going to show you how it works, when this wave is hitting your body and it's stimulating it again to pump more blood and more oxygen and more blood flow, you start getting better blood flow. So that's what you got to decide, good or poor blood flow, or poor or good blood flow. So obviously I chose the good blood flow, and that's what's going to make a difference. There again, you see actual inside capillary vessels getting nice blood flow going, which makes a big difference. You know what's interesting? I showed this to a neurosurgeon, and he said to me, I want you to think about this. He goes, 12 years of education, 20, 30 years of back, spine, brain surgery, and we don't even focus on the capillary vessels. We only focus on the major veins and arteries. But he said, listen, the best doctor is not the allopathic doctor. It's also not your holistic doctor. It's actually the doctor within that says, bring me blood flow, bring me oxygen, and the body has an amazing way to start healing itself, right? That's why we always talk about those arenas. But again, I'm the presenter. Don't take my word. Here's one of the top researchers in the world, Dr. Klopp. You can look him up in PubMed. He actually wrote a book on microcirculation, was hired by the government in Germany to see how he can get elderly people more circulation to cut down on health care. And after 20 years of researching and refining the signal and seeing what Beamer does, he recently put out a quote that says, Beamer is the most effective and widely researched physical therapy method available today. And that's a big statement considering you have cryo machines, hyperbaric chamber, massage technology. You have a lot of ways to stimulate some blood flow, but nothing is stimulating this vascular therapy, getting the body to pump again, not quite when you were young, but a good percentage of blood flow to help you heal the body. So that's a lot more validation. So what happens? The body likes 0 to 30 hertz. And those that are really into waveforms and microtesla and signals, we have videos that you can look at to get more into the detail of the science. Again, this is a brief presentation. But the body likes 0 to 30 hertz, and we stay between 10 and 30 hertz. Also, the measurement of energy, like when you walk on the Earth's energy field, microtesla is how they measure energy. The Earth's energy field, I think, is 40 to 60 microtesla. Well, Beamer stays between 3.5 and 35. So we have a gentle frequency, low intensity. The body reacts to it. It likes this wave, and it gets it to start pumping again and bringing that blood flow and oxygen.
I want to thank you for watching this video. If you did like it, go ahead, hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Once again, thank you for watching the video.